All right, everyone, welcome to another episode of the Big Lee's World Podcast. It is I, your host, Big Lee, coming to you once again from Cape Girardeau, Missouri, right here at the Boom Boom Room. And as always, I got my sergeant in arms right here, Mr. T0mroe. And Mr. T0mroe here has got us some very special guests. T0mroe, tell us who you got and bring them in.
I have Henry from the band Keep Flying. They just released their new album, Time and Tide, last Thursday, I believe it was, correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, this is Henry from Keep Flying. Yes, and yeah, the record came out. We're recording this on a Wednesday. So 7 days ago. 7 days ago. Today's day 7 of its existence in the world. How about that?
It's a great album. I recommend everybody to check it out.
I also recommend it. As the writer of a lot of it, I recommend wholeheartedly that folks take it in and drink it in and enjoy it.
I do have a question. I wonder, how do you guys find time to record when you're on tour literally all the time?
It's tough. We still do play a lot of shows. But we really, this time around especially, really tried to focus on other aspects of the business outside of just playing all the time. I think that's like what we just did for many years. And we didn't have a lot of time dedicated to writing and getting together and jamming and putting a lot of music out, which you could see by the fact that we've never put out a full length up until now. But going into last year and the year before, when all this was kind of conceived, we specifically, set the time aside to be like, hey, let's go for this. And it kind of became a full length by accident. I just kind of had a lot of songs. I just kind of kept going. I just had a bunch of ideas, and I was let's just get them all down, see what happens. And so it's all about time management, which we've gotten better at doing as a band. So we're able to. Nowadays we're really focused on making sure we keep our content flowing, as well as being able to play as many shows as we reasonably can.
Nice. I lost my train of thought there for a second. So when did you guys start recording
I'm
this?
really boring. So boring.
Oh no, you were great. When did you guys actually get in the studio? I saw you guys last summer with Bowling for Soup, and I know there was nothing new played then. That's not to say, it wasn't already in the works.
When did we record this?
February.
Oh yeah, I think by then it was already done. I think
wow.
I think like we had already had everything tracked. It was all pretty much recorded in the front half of 24. But it was in mix and master for a little bit, but not too long. It just didn't seem like we wanted to plan out when we would put it out instead of just getting it out as early as we could. We knew we wanted to have it, have a tour to put it out on. So like it just made sense to wait until the slate of shows for 2025 was materializing. And once once the tour plans kind of announced themselves, it made sense to put it out now. So we're on a tour as we speak. I'm in the green room backstage for a show that we're playing with Save Ferris, and we're out here with them for the next few weeks, along with some headliners, along with some other dates supporting the Used, Diesel Boy, and Nerve Herders. So we wanted to have like really great shows to play with the record out. So. Yeah, so that's just kind of how we timed it out, and so now this will be the year of Time and Tide. We'll keep pushing it throughout the year and see how it goes.
And I saw you guys are playing the Road to Warp Tour in Scranton, correct?
Yeah, so this tour will conclude. There's for the folks at home. There's a show, like a pre-Warp Tour show happening in Scranton, PA. We're featuring a lot of the bands that are playing the DC Warp Tour date, and we'll be featured on that. And then I think the next day we'll go down to DC, and we'll have all our gear at DC. We'll have our merch. You know what I mean? So like we'll kind of have all our stuff. So maybe people will be around, and maybe we'll use that stuff, that gear, and maybe sell that merch. You know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah, that'd be badass.
You know what I mean? Like maybe we'll you know what I mean?
Yeah, and not just that. I mean, for those that are local listening to this here in Missouri, y'all also have a show coming up May 20th at the old Rock House in St. Louis.
I was gonna say I wasn't sure if this was a PA show. I wasn't sure like where we should be saying like I wasn't sure where the locale of the folks at home would be. But yeah, I do believe we'll be playing St. Louis with on the Safe Ferris tour, and as luck would have it, the Toasters tour has is playing that like they combine the two shows, so
Okay.
it'll be a whole lot of fucking ska and us. So why not? So that'll be pretty cool. Why not?
Yeah, I was gonna say, Old Rock House is a great venue there in St. Louis. That's one thing about St. Louis. We do have a lot of great venues here in the area, a lot of great promoters. Now you said you seen them with Bowling for Soup. Was that in St. Louis? Is this y'all's first time in St. Louis, or?
I've seen
No,
them.
we God, where have you seen us? Probably at the Sinkhole. We've been there a
I've
million
seen
times,
you.
right?
I've seen you twice at Bowling for Soup. Once at the pageant, and then the other was in Kansas City last summer. I don't remember the venue.
Oh
I mean,
yeah,
I saw you
well,
guys in Columbia, Missouri once as well.
right. No, we are. We've been touring for 9 years, and like I would say the only rarities in terms of the cities that we get to are usually on the West Coast, only because we're an East Coast band, and so it's just hard to get out there. But we do the loop, the Midwest loop,
Okay.
reasonably, usually like twice, maybe three times a year. I would say this year probably we will probably get to every place at least once, but you never know. We may pop through again. We're trying not to overplay, and also again like we started with, trying to make time for other things. So and not just play every show ever. But yeah, we've been through St. Louis plenty of times,
Yeah,
guys. I wish I could stay on longer, but I do have to get ready for this show. I feel like an absolute jerk off being here only for a few minutes. But
hey, no, that's quite all right, Henry. We appreciate you stopping in and
Yeah,
chatting
thanks
with
for
us here a
coming
few
on.
minutes. Make sure to May 20th, get your tickets at the old Rock House in St. Louis. Make sure to go out and support them. And like I said, go support Keep Flying. And we appreciate you dropping in, seeing us. And we look forward to seeing you out on the road.
May 20th is our sax player's birthday. You would love to see everybody out for the most ska show ever. So we'll
All right,
catch you out
well,
there. Stream Time and Tide, buy the record, and we will catch you guys later. Thank you so much for having us.
all right, thanks, Henry. Have a great one.
Cheers, man.
Thank you.
Thanks. All right, Tommy. That was our first band of the new season of the Big Leagues World podcast. How was it for you?
It was good. Time constraints. I didn't get into everything I wanted, but I think I did good. Did I do good, Dad?
Yeah. I mean, you did well. For what you could do. It's that's the gift and the curse of the business, man. Like, you could get some of these things, and they probably listen to our podcast and be like, God, I hope I don't get under these two clowns and let them chatter for like 12 hours with us.
Yeah, that's why I made sure to ask how much time he had before, because
right.
I know we can go a little long sometimes.
Yeah. Hey, what do you mean? I mean, we're just a bunch of clatterboxes here. Speaking of which, our third in command is supposed to be here. Lord Farmer Billy Hills.
He's currently big timing us.
Right. He said he should be here shortly.
I guess sometimes the farmer has to tend to his crops.
I guess so. I mean, so how's your week been?
So far so good. Just the same shit as always. Just the work gimmick. Not much going on outside of that.
Did you decide to take my advice and book that Hogan meet and greet?
I have not. No.
Well, now may be the perfect time to swipe on it or lock it in. I saw Monday that him and Bischoff are back together teasing something.
One of my friends texted me about that earlier. It's a let me find the text.
It shouldn't take him too long to find the text. It's not like he texted anybody.
American Freestyle Wrestling Federation. And the third man is some guy named Izzy. That's all I got.
What's it supposed to be?
Your guess is as good as mine. I'll see if I can find anything on the old Reddit real quick.
You said American freestyle?
Yeah.
Like collegiate?
That's what it sounds like, but what the hell does Hulk Hogan know about wrestling?
I mean, he knows enough to convince people that his Japanese work was supposed to be good when it was terrible.
Well, it's actually Hulk Hogan, Eric Bischoff team up to launch Real American Freestyle, bring competitive wrestling to mainstream. So, I guess it is that.
I mean, that sounds like a terrible investment, but what do I know? It reminds me of this.
I actually am a fan of collegiate wrestling, so I'd give it a shot. Izzy Martinez is the other guy involved, which is a legendary wrestling coach.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I've never heard of it, so I was trying to remember what I don't know if you remember this or not. This is God, at least 10 years ago maybe. I want to say there was like a weird style pay-per-view they did to where they had different styles of fights. Like one was like a pro wrestling match, one was like an MMA match, one was like collegiate, one was grappling.
Did that take place in Japan by chance?
I don't remember where it took place at.
So I know there's been some of that in Japan, but
I just remember watching it. And when it got to the grappling part, I thought it was some of the most boring thing to watch. Now I'm sure
it's not for everybody.
Yeah. I was gonna say, if you get out there and you compete in it, stuff like that, then I'm sure that, it's probably some more of interest. But just as a casual fan or to sit down and try to watch on TV, it just didn't do it for me.
I know Matt from the Big Leagues World chat might disagree with you there. His sons are into wrestling.
Yeah. The exclusive the Big League World group chat.
You're not invited.
That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna start selling an OnlyFans or Patreon membership to the group chat.
Hey, I'll do anything for a little money.
You would have to pay me to stay in it. I mean,
so how was your weekend at the Squared Circle Expo?
Man, my weekend was great. I want to give a shout out to Mikey, give a shout out to Brandon and everyone for having me on their crew working the Squared Circle Expo. It's always a fun time to be with those guys. It's always a fun time at the Squared Circle Convention, or the Squared Circle Expo Convention, I should say. I look forward to being back there next year. Saw a lot of great people there. Got to catch up with a lot of great people. Special shout out to everyone that came up and said, they enjoyed the podcast. They're glad to have us back. Things like that. Talked about some of the previous wrestling engagements and stuff like that I've been a part of. So it was great to catch up. Like I said, catch up with everybody, meet some fans, things like that. Kind of help out, make sure the convention goes smooth, nothing crazy happens. So
definitely I've all but canceled my WrestleMania trip next year, so maybe I will make an appearance at the Squared Circle Expo.
How do you already cancel it when it ain't even been announced?
Because I just know the prices are going to be insane, and I can't justify it anymore.
Man, I'm telling you, when I did it, we just went that weekend, but we left before WrestleMania. There's just nothing overly excited about being there for
10,000 hours.
Yeah. I'll tell you, get on my soapbox here. Old man time with Big Lee here. The elder of the group. So I'm sitting here probably thinking I need a Tylenol. But one thing I remember my dad always telling me when we would talk wrestling when I was growing up, he'd always tell me, he's like, pay-per-views are a waste of money. And I was like, well, why is that? My dad, Jerry, he would always tell me, he'd say, it's a waste of money because it don't really matter what happens on those, because the next night or the next week, they're going to redo the same match for free. And whatever they did last week, it ain't going to matter, because whatever they do now is going to be redone to what they should have been the first time. And I think it stuck with me.
I mean, I think there's definitely some merit to that.
Because, like, I don't think I've paid for a pay-per-view since, like, 2006.
I bought, my fair share of AEW pay-per-views over the last 5-6 years, whatever. But
I can actually tell you, I remember the last pay-per-view I bought. And that was ECW's One Night Stand 2006.
I've never watched that show.
So, compared to the first one, the first one was just like lightning in the bottle.
The first one's changed my life.
The second one, like, it was cool, but Cena and RVD, it just didn't feel right.
Yeah, that was, they were definitely trying to make it their own product then. And, I mean, it was cool that RVD, got the title in that setting, but...
And then they forced him to drop it.
All because the man smoked a little weed.
Yeah, now look at it, WWE's like, hey, okay, we'll get it. We'll even allow it on the TV.
Good old Travis Scott with his blunt.
Yeah. Man... Did you go to that ECW show they did in Poplar Bluff?
The one at like the WWE ECW one? I did.
Man, I was there. I was front row for it. That's probably the only time like I waited to get tickets like outside. You always hear the stories of people like, oh, I camped outside and all this stuff for tickets. I think that was the only time in life I ever did that. I remember like tickets went on sale like 10 in the morning. And I think I got to the Coliseum at like 4 a.m.
Oh, wow.
To get front row tickets for it.
We were, that show was RVD's first match back, wasn't it?
Yes.
From suspension?
Yep. And our Big Show versus Sabu, and Big Show, like, threw Sabu, and he threw him so far, like, he almost went outside, like, across the ring outside of the ropes.
I said it was RVD versus Angle, and one of them got hurt. It turned out to be nothing serious.
CM Punk versus Kevin Thorne.
Yeah, I remember Punk.
Balls Mahoney was in the opening match, but I forgot who he was against.
I remember Sandman versus Mike Knox ended in a DQ at an ECW show. That was fun.
Yeah. And who was it? One of the La Resistance guys got into a fight with the fan.
That would have been Rene Dupree, because him and my brother also got into it, and he chased us to Sykeston.
What?
Fun fact. Yeah, so this jackass, he had a big-ass Hummer with his picture painted on the side of it. And we were passing him on the interstate, and my brother decided to moon him. And he literally chased us all the way to Sykeston, like on our ass the entire time. So we hit the exit, to go back to East Prairie, and he kept going. So my brother did not actually fight Rene Dupree, but almost.
Man. But now I remember the guy in the crowd like throwing hands with Rene. And I think the other big takeaway for it, front row for that show, was 25 American Freedom units.
Really?
And now you probably can't even buy like mid-card bowl or mid-level bowl tickets.
You can't even get
$25 in fees.
Can't even get a front row seat for GCW at $25.
No, I think when I last looked tickets, I looked at theirs. It was like $70.
I know the Pops show, the first one they did. I bought a front row ticket to that. I ended up not going, but I want to say I paid like $75 for that.
Yeah, that's a conversation we may save for one of our future guests that's going to come on here, because I want to talk about the success versus what needs to happen for those GCW crowds to be bigger. I'll lead with this. It's the GCW shows that come to Pops need to be more deathmatch heavy. Not because I'm a big deathmatch guy, but if you look at the non-deathmatch guys that come in for those shows, those same talents are working St. Louis shows at a fraction of a ticket price. So you're trying to sell a $70 front row ticket to a show in East St. Louis that people can stay in St. Louis and see those same guests for like $30 a front row.
I've never been to any of those St. Louis indie shows.
You've never been to a St. Louis indie show?
No. I went to a couple Gateway Championship wrestling shows back in the day, but they were actually all in East Prairie.
Okay. So you've never been to Glory Pro or Anarchy or anything like that?
I haven't. There was a couple of years ago, I was trying so hard to make it to an Anarchy show, and it just never worked out. And then I just gave up.
I think I've been to 2 Anarchy shows. I went to the one when the Hooligans was supposed to retire. And I went to the one where they brought Masada Tanaka.
I know, I've seen your video of that match from the show.
But it's one of those things also, those that listen or know outside of here that, like, I'm a pretty big deathmatch guy, so I can't justify paying a $30 ticket. Not that, let me stop there and rephrase that. That $30 ticket for a lot of the talent that gets brought into these indie shows isn't a bad deal at any rate. It's just not for me. If I'm going to invest a $30 ticket into a show, I need glass, barbed wire, blood, guts. Tommy's like, absolutely not.
I need Jesus.
Speaking of that, that's one of the things we talked about at the Squared Circle Expo was the infamous Black Craft Wrestling show. Did you ever watch that?
I didn't watch it. I remember it happening. I was still on Twitter at the time. There was a couple people that I followed that were really into the Black Craft clothing line. And so I remember the show happening. I don't think it went down too well, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong on that.
No, I mean, there's like a whole documentary on YouTube about it. But kind of the gist is that, GCW does the thing called the Collective WrestleMania weekend where they have a bunch of shows throughout the weekend. And one of the last show of one of the days was supposed to be Blackcraft Wrestling. Well, Blackcraft didn't want to, play well with others, so they ended up going and they didn't want to use their camera crew or any of their setup like that. So they ended up having to do all their stuff separately. They caused the show to be delayed like so late that because the venue had like a curfew everyone had to be out of, and because of that, like the show had to get run cut short for everything else because of how long the setup took. But if I remember this right, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the show started out, I think they crucified a girl at the beginning, if I remember right. I just remember, so the 2 big takeaways I remember from it is they crucified the girl, and Doug Bradley, the guy who's known for playing Hellraiser or Pinhead in Hellraiser movies, they slit his throat.
Ooh, okay.
So those were the 2 big takeaways.
Like legit David Arquette style slit, or
no gimmick.
Okay.
And there was that, and then Matthew Justice won the belt, and apparently he still has the belt to this day. Although anytime like I've known he's coming to a show that I'm going to, I always message him and be like, "Hey, can you bring me the belt? Can you bring the belt so I can take a picture with it?" He never does. Even when he came to Cape, I thought he would bring the belt, and he didn't. I'll talk about a photo op, the infamous Black Craft belt.
Gotta pay for it.
I mean, it's just, I wonder if Black Craft could come back.
I'm not the guy to ask on that one.
I mean, I think about stuff like that often. I was like, because the Black Craft clothing line, for those that don't know, is basically what your parents think Hot Topic is. It's a very, I don't want to go say it, like, dark style, like, pseudo, like, demonic witchcraft, things of that nature. And, basically they got enough money they wanted to get into wrestling, and they fumbled the bag pretty hard. How much Blackcraft stuff do you own?
None.
That's hard for me to believe. You being a big time, demonic man.
Hey. No.
Dude, I'm going to get on here, and that's the one thing I want to... That's exposing the business or breaking the fourth wall stuff. Like I said, I'm old. Older than dirt. Around when electricity was invented, stuff like that. My first car was the Flintstone car. You had to, use your feet to go. But I remember being a youngster, and that was the big thing. Is you remember Trip jeans?
That sounds familiar.
Like those are the baggy.
How much older are you than me?
Well, I'm 38, so.
All right, I'm 32, so only 6 years. That's not terrible.
So you remember the baggy black pants that had the chains and spikes and stuff like that on it?
Yeah, I just thought they were Jinko.
Yeah, so no, Jinko was just regular jeans. These were with the little gimmicks on them, I guess for a better word, the chains and stuff like that. But they were super expensive even back then, I remember. And I was working at the grocery store back in the day, and I'd save up and all this stuff, and I would go get a new pair and stuff like that, have a couple pairs, and man, it was something else. You put those things in, I put those things in Mom's washer, and I'd be afraid it's going to tear the washer up each time. I'm pretty sure a couple of times she yelled at me thinking that it was going to tear the washer up because those chains are sewed into the legs of the pants, so you can't really take them off. So you put those in the washer and you just hear ching, 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 ching. It's going to pop the washer and everything. But that was the cool thing. And it's oh man, I listen to all this angry music and I need to wear this. And at the time, that was pretty well it. I would listen to these CDs and I would wear these clothes, but I wasn't actually going to shows that much yet. I think at that point I had been to I remember I'd been to the St. Lunatics concert, and I had been to the Nickelback concert that came here. And that was when I was still in high school. And then afterwards, we didn't really have anything except really small local Bone Stock. You remember Bone Stock at Poplar Bluff?
I never went to one, but yeah, they brought it back last summer, didn't they?
Yeah, they tried, but I don't know how well it did. They didn't have anybody big. I think during its peak, they brought Saving Abel, and
I specifically remember that one because I wanted to go, but I didn't have a license yet, and
because I remember
that reason my mom just no
yeah, they because if I remember at the Saving Abel came or supposed to come, then it rained. So they moved Saving Abel to whatever that bar was outside of Poplar Bluff. Scooters. You remember Scooters?
I was young.
Well, I was going to say, because that's where they tried to do shows in Poplar Bluff. And then once they rescheduled it, I think they tried to bring them back. And anyway, so that was pretty well the only real experience of concerts till after I started getting, moved away to college. But that was the other thing. Once I got into college and started going to shows, I realized it's wait a minute. I was sold this notion of this is how people that listen to music that I listen to dress. And it's actually, no, it's not. And it's actually a bad look because that's usually the posers at the shows. That's what they dress in. And as I started getting into heavier and heavier bands and music, then it's oh wait, these people just wear regular clothes, and usually not very nice regular clothes to begin with. So why am I spending this money on these goofy pants that just makes me look not how I want to look in the scene?
Speaking of goofy pants, I see Farmer has finally joined us, I think.
Hello.
Well, he's trying to.
Oh, no, I'm here. I'm here.
There he
there he
is.
is.
It's just like I didn't know if our guests were here yet, and I'm trying out these, and I didn't want them to see me eating, so I just had my camera turned off.
They
The
had to
interview's
make
already being conducted.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah,
cool.
They've already been conducted.
All right,
and
sorry about that.
I was currently telling
They're
Mr.
on
Tom
stage
Rowe
right now,
here
pretty sure.
Nice. Good for them.
probably telling Tom Rowe here, T-Dog, Mr. T himself, about what it was like being old and Trip Jeans. Do you remember Trip Jeans?
Yeah, I do.
So
Never had a pair. Online, never had one.
Oh, I
need
had
to get
quite
you
a
some
few.
Trip overalls for your next match.
If that's a thing, I will.
It'll be your deathmatch debut wearing Trip overalls.
God damn it.
If you had to pay for those, you definitely wouldn't be wearing them in a death match. That's for certain. But no, I was telling him that was one of the lessons I learned was, growing up back where we grew up at, not really having that real live music experiences besides a couple of one-off shows that come here. Like, you don't realize it's like that's the clothes of posers, and real hardcore fans like don't dress that way. They wear shorts and t-shirts. So that it was a hard life lesson to go from being like, oh wow, this is what I thought I needed to wear, to like, oh no, I don't need this at all. Yeah. Give me back my $12 Walmart jeans and
Yep, cut them off
baggy black t-shirts. Right? Hey, let me tell y'all something. Let me get on my other soapbox here. Somebody asked me about this the other day. They said, Big Lee, why all of a sudden the past couple years, whenever I see you in pictures, like 99% of the time, if you're wearing jeans, they're cut off shorts. And I'll tell you why. When you go buy big boy shorts, they ain't cheap. They're expensive. Now, you can go to Amazon and try to buy some big boy shorts, but they cheaply made. And they still ain't very cheap to begin with in price. They just cheap in quality. So my theory is, why should I go out and pay, anywhere from $30 to $60 for a pair of shorts when I can just go to Walmart and buy like a $12 to $15 pair of jeans and cut them to the length that I want them to be and wear them, so that when I go do goofy stuff like go to hardcore concerts where it gets too rowdy, or I go to a deathmatch show where people get too close and they bleed on you, or the glass cuts your clothes or something like that, then it's like I'm not out hardly anything. And it gets the same effect. Like, you can go buy $60 baggy jean shorts, or I can go pay $15 jeans at Walmart and cut them myself.
I'm still wearing, I don't know how they fit. I'm still wearing some of the same shorts I had in high school, and I graduated 14 years ago.
I'm impressed that you have clothes that last that long.
That's consistency, man. It can't be consistency.
Yeah, I don't.
How about those McCrispy strips? Can we beat those?
All right. So I know you guys know that this stuff is pretty much like new, right? The McCrispy strips or whatever.
Yeah.
So, full transparency, they're basically McChicken strips. They taste like the McChicken, just in strip form. Now, they do have like their own sauce. It is called the Creamy Chili McCrispy Strip Dip. It's got a nice little sweetness to it. It's pretty good. It's not bad. Is the meal that I got worth $11? No, but I would pay $7 or $8 for it. $7 or $8 is worth it. For $11, I want 6 strips, my large fry, and my large drink. 4 strips. I mean, here I can show you guys. Like, they're all pretty kind of like comparable in size, all of them.
Okay.
But for $11, I want 2 more or 1 more, 1 to 2, 2 max, 1 minimum for $11. The medium, because it only comes in, I think, medium and large, the actual meals do. Medium would have still been 4 strips, medium fry, medium drink. And it would only be $2 less. So for the $11 that I paid for 4 strips, large fry, large drink, no.
Yeah, they should throw in some extra strips for that.
Yeah, I'm gonna need a couple more for that one.
And these strips are a soft launch. They're bringing back the crunch or not the crunch wrap, but the wraps this year, and those will be the chicken and the wraps.
And that's pretty much honestly what I'm waiting for. I was just kind of like testing the waters with this just to see, like, is that the old chicken strips? And I mean, it is. It pretty much is. Like, there's really no difference there.
That's another soapbox issue I get on here with McDonald's. So, I don't know if this is the way it is for you, Reverend Lord Farmer Billy Hills, 9021873, whatever, your continuously long name.
my zip code for this week.
Yeah, that's going to be a new segment on here. It's like, how much further can he expand his name out each week? But no, I don't know how this is in Mudlick, Kentucky, where you're, pseudo located at. But the McDonald's here in the area in the southeast Missouri, they took away one of my favorite items, and that was the lemonade Sprite Icy. And they replaced it with these Cardinal strawberry ices. And I don't know why they did it, but it was a terrible decision. I don't know who to talk to about it at the local McDonald's. Like, I've told them each time I've went that they need to bring it back. They just motion for me. They give me my food and just tell me to leave. But, like, once I travel out of this area, they still have the Sprite lemonade.
Yeah.
And that just really aggravates me, because, like, that was probably one of the best things McDonald's ever had. And then, of course, they get rid of it here for strawberry.
Yeah.
Not strawberry lemonade, just strawberry icy.
And that was a Missouri thing, to my understanding.
Yeah. Got to support our shitty baseball team.
Yeah. That's pretty much all. Because everywhere around Missouri kept it the same. It was Missouri that changed because of the Cardinals. Or the Chiefs, whichever one you kind of want to swing that redness towards.
I think it was the Cardinals, because they did they have like a mixture of a red and blue one as well. I think it's supposed to be the actual Cardinals one.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
Still upset about this.
Rightfully so.
I was telling him, we were talking earlier about my weekend at Squared Circle Expo.
Yeah, how'd it go?
And in the route back there, I was able to get one at one of the local McDonald's there, and I was so happy.
Good. Hell yeah.
I couldn't tell you guys the last time I had McDonald's.
I'll be transparent. The only reason why I did this is because I needed something quick for on the way home, so I wouldn't have to cook dinner. Or else, no. I legit, I had set out some chicken breast earlier that I was going to air fry for dinner, and they're still sitting in the sink because I was off doing other stuff. And this, anytime I go eat at like McDonald's, Starbucks, places like that, I end up getting a little bit cash back on it with the plastic that I use to pay for stuff. So just like whatever. And then sure enough, there was the ad for these. I'm like, okay, so they're the chicken strips that technically they probably put the wraps. Let's see. Let's do the deal. And here we are. And they're exactly what I thought they'd be. So I can say that.
I had a nice gourmet Jack's pizza.
Solid choice.
Dude, I had one of those last year for probably the first time in like 15 years. And that thing tasted like cardboard.
That's because it is.
Fair enough.
Cardboard
I thought it was just me, but...
I just, I put some Blues Hog barbecue sauce on top, gave it a little extra flavor.
Is that a shameless plug?
I mean, if they want to pay me, by all means.
I mean... Are they a paid sponsor of the podcast?
Hey, Blues Hog. Support my hog.
That's who I think it is, right?
Who do you think it is?
That's Matt and Josh's deal, right?
No, that's Bearded Hogs.
Bearded Hogs, okay. Shout out to Bearded Hogs. So who's Boss Hog then?
If they want to pay me, they can also pay me. Blues Hog is just a barbecue
Blues
sauce brand.
Okay, so it's not something local or anything like that?
No. But they have a raspberry chipotle barbecue sauce. It's literally the best thing I've ever tasted.
That sounds.
I was at Walmart a few months back, and they had the like little sample bottles, 50 cents a piece on clearance. And so I bought one there, and yeah, it's phenomenal.
And which one is it?
I thought it was illegal for you to shop there.
My boss doesn't listen to this, I think.
And what was what was that brand again, Tom?
Blues Hog.
Blues Hog. I'm gonna have to find that because that just sounds intriguing.
I feel like somebody trying to break into a car out there. As soon as I say it, they finally stop the noise.
I say, well, it is Cape Girardeau.
Oh, that's true. That's true. So, I mean, but no, like I said, I'd like to get y'all, make it work out to where y'all can come up with me for a Squared Circle next year.
I say, yeah.
Hopefully they'll announce the date soon.
I'm strongly considering it, depending on where it lands.
Yep.
Or when it lands. I know it'll be in Indy, correct?
Yes, as far as I've heard, they have no intentions of moving it. So, and they're like I said last week. It's when the major wrestling convention in I'm trying to think what I call it, Midwest.
I mean, it's kind of Midwest.
They classify it. That area is classified as Midwest. So
Midwest, Great Lakes, whatever.
I mean, I tell you what, though, this will apply more to Farmer than anything. One of the guys that I worked with this past week was Raven.
Mm-hmm.
And contrary to how he was the last time I dealt with him here in Cape, dude was an absolute sweetheart.
He looked very happy in the photo he took with you.
Well, I mean, who isn't happy to take a photo with me?
That's very fair. But you normally, and again, we all have our days, months, weeks, years. Y'all know the song. But it's like anytime you see a picture of him coming out of a convention, he normally just has the same, I don't want to say smug, but just kind of, I'm here face. You don't actually see kind of like anything genuine coming out of him, but like the photo you took with him, that actually looked like, an actual genuine happy to be there kind of thing. So good for both of you. That's awesome. Hopefully he can keep whatever was making him happy that day going for him.
I think this is first convention in 2 or 3 years.
That could be it. Like taking that break, man, sometimes can completely change, your perspective on stuff. And the money.
I think Missy Hyatt thought I was going to kidnap her.
I mean,
she seems like she'd be into that.
That's probably true.
And that's the Big Leagues World podcast.
Considering some of the things that she's done to make people comfortable around her, I'm surprised she didn't just suck you off.
I mean,
and it wouldn't even have been to make you comfortable. It would have been for her own safety.
Dude, she was a trip. Every time we got in the car, she immediately got on the phone. She immediately got a quote-unquote phone call that lasted the duration of wherever we were going.
Oh, yeah. I know that life. Yeah.
And I'm like, you think I'm going to... I just kept thinking, you think I'm going to kidnap you? Yeah. We're literally staying... First off, we're literally staying at the same hotel complex. I just don't... I don't get it. I
mean, okay. You got to look at the flip side of the coin here. Look at yourself. Look at her.
Pretty sexy, I know I am.
Look at you. Let's be realistic here. We can understand a smidgen of why she might be scared, but that's one of those, she judged a book by its cover. and has no idea you're just a giant fucking teddy bear at heart. So that's on her, and that's technically her loss. So fuck that. But in a more realistic sense of things, I could understand why she might be a little scared, because just looking at you, it could be a little off-putting for some people, but it's one of those things. Again, it's judging a book by its cover.
Everybody's off-put when they look at me too. I get
it too, except most of the time, after like 5 seconds, they're probably smiling because I whipped my dick out or something. That's where you know that.
Well, see, that's the thing. Like,
he whipped his dick out.
No, so like the first time I can let it slide because you don't know. Like, I get you don't know, but I drop you off at your hotel. I told you in the car I'm staying at the same hotel. I'll be the one picking you up. It don't need to happen again. Or a third time.
A third time?
Yeah. So, I'm just like, dog, come on now.
I figure it out, lady.
And I mean, it's only like a 2-minute drive from our hotel to where the convention was at.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, man. But I can't say anything, man. I had one of the big timers that came into CCW do the same thing to me. His wife called him whenever I started asking him questions for advice and such.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't be asking her for advice, but...
Oh, hell no.
The other funny thing, this was probably the funniest thing of the weekend for me. So when she came through the second day, we're gonna make these phone calls and stuff like that while we're in the car, because we may be scared that, you're gonna get kidnapped going across the street, but she apparently has a quote unquote friend that she gets these 8x10s from. Or she gets these 8x10s for, I should say. And
it's Jim Ross.
She did ask me if Jim Ross was there on the way from the airport. I don't know if she went and talked to him. She did it when I was with her. Because that's what I was going to get at with this, is that she had a list of people that she wanted to get these 8x10s from. I was like, okay. She's like, will you walk with me to go get them? Which is kind of like process for any of these conventions. To be like, okay, whoever your talent, if you're working a convention, you're with a talent, and they want to go talk to somebody else, not always you're going to get somebody that's like a diehard wrestling aficionado like T0mroe over there, who knows everything about everyone.
Right.
You're going to get people that, are just a casual fan or kind of got hooked into volunteering because they were going to go with their friends wanted to make a trip out of this. They're just like, oh, hey, yeah, we're all volunteering. You can volunteer too.
Yeah.
So, it's just kind of policy. Or not really policy. It's just like an unwritten
rule.
That unwritten rule of the fourth wall, basically. So she's like, all right, you walk with me? Yeah, sure, no problem. So she shows me her list. She shows me her list like one time and she expected me to automatically remember it. Which, that's not going to happen. I also didn't realize that she didn't fully know who these people were on her list. Or that her list, like, she couldn't remember it either. So, the first people on her list was the Hurt Syndicate. Now, for those that don't know, it's Bobby Lashley, MVP, and Shelton Benjamin. 3 dudes that's been in this business for a hot minute. Like, if you know, you know. They had a sizable line Saturday. Now, usually, like I said, it's kind of the unwritten rule that if your talent wants to meet a talent or go talk to them, they kind of get that extra VIP, just walk up to the person and talk to them. if the handler of them have any questions, you talk to them. Usually you try to talk to them before they go up to them. Well, with Missy, she literally would just like bombard the people. Now, luckily, those three are a little bit older, so they know who Missy is. Not overly terrible, but I still have to tell the handler, who, may not remember who Missy Hyatt quite is. Some of y'all listening to this may be like, who's Missy Hyatt? She was famous in WCW in the late 80s and early 90s, and then she did ECW for, a cup of coffee, and then, whatever. So, anyways, she goes and starts talking to Bobby, and I'm trying to tell the handler, yeah, this is Missy Hyatt, I'm here, security making, this. And he's, okay. So then she goes to Shelton Benjamin. In this process, she yells out across the table where I'm standing at, over with the handler, and yells out and asks me if this is somebody that's on her list that she's supposed to meet. And I'm just dumbfounded. The only thing I can say is, yep, you wanted to meet all three of the Hurt Syndicate. They're all three right here. And then MVP kind of looks at me with a little chuckle. And his handler looks at me and he looks like he wants to say something. But also at the same time, as you said earlier, I could look a little off-putting normally. And at this time, I'm already frustrated. And we're at like the first walk with her through this. And he looks like he wants to say something. And as soon as I turn and look at him, he's just like, no, we're not saying. I'm just, no. Now, I did go up to the handler as she was walking away. And I explained to him, I was like, this is too early for this, But thanks. And he's like, oh, I get it, man. It's convention weekend. It happens. All right. So, luckily, the next one was T0mroe, basically. So that one made it a little easier for me. She wanted to go see Jerry Briscoe, JBL, and Brutus Beefcake. So luckily, it was all family reunion basically with them. No problem. I try to go up and tell JBL, hey, I had Missy while she's over talking to Greg. Or not Greg, Brutus. And as soon as he sees her, like he just jumps up and gets all excited to see her. Same with Jerry Briscoe. Oh. And I'm just like,
I wonder.
All right. So next is Swerve and Nana, Prince Nana. Luckily, they were kind of busy at the time because she looks at me and she points at them and says, now, are these on my list? It's like, yes.
Are we just saying yes at this point, or do you know?
No, this one I remember because she had showed me when we left the Hurt Syndicate. She showed me her list again.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay. So I try to. Luckily, I got ahead of her on this one, and I cut Swerve's line. Say, hey, I have Missy Hyatt wanting to speak to you. And he was excited. Then Nana heard me say it. He was excited to meet her. At this time, I'm about to lose my cool because their handler is trying to sell me a photo op with them or an autograph with them too. And I'm trying to get through his thick skull. It's like,
I ain't here for that,
no.
bitch.
I'm not here for this. Like, that's Missy Hyatt. She's part of the talent. I have this all access pass. Like, I'm here walking her around currently to meet these people so she can get back to her table and do the meet and greet.
Right. Was it
And it took
Man
about a good
Scout?
5. No,
No, it wasn't Manning. Okay, I was hoping it wasn't
I
Manning
don't think he
because
was
he should
there.
know better.
I was gonna say I don't think he was there this year. If he was, I didn't see him.
Well, he's been like, I don't want
Because
to
I
say.
think I either met him at WrestleCon or StarCast when I worked there.
Yeah, and was he doing merch or was he actually like in gimmick there?
No, I think he was working for High Spot.
Yeah, that checks out. But see, he's been doing a lot of like AEW handling and going up, setting up merch
Yeah.
and running that for him too. So I didn't know if they might have had him in that kind of role there for some of those guys this year or not. I didn't know.
No, it was some volunteer guy. So about 5 or 6 minutes going back and forth with this guy, it finally clicked in his head what I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay, cool. So we moved to the next one. Which luckily was Jacqueline, Miss Texas. You could tell Miss Texas or Jacqueline's handler wasn't too for sure who Missy Hyatt was. Because, of course, she just bomb rushes and goes up to Jacqueline and starts talking to her. And Jacqueline, So then it seems like it was, she goes to meet these people. And I'm just meeting their handlers, basically, and explaining to them, hey, So I had a nice talk with her handler, explaining, who Missy Hyatt was and, what was going on. So we got that. And the next one, this was the one I was probably the most nervous about. Because I wasn't for sure who was actually doing it. Luckily, I found out it was a vendor when I talked to him. And he was super chill about it. She wanted to meet Takeshka. However you say it.
Takeshita.
Yeah.
Takeshita.
Yes, as Dutch Mantel calls him. So I was like, great. Because a lot of times dealing with international talent, I've ran across, there's definitely that language barrier, even with the people that handle them. So luckily, it was a vendor that brought him in. So as soon as I went to explain, he's like, oh man, I love Missy Hyatt. That's great. Thanks for bringing her to my table. Hey, anything y'all need, just let me know. I'm like, all right, cool. Because now at this point, it's still probably about 11:30ish at this time, and I still have to go back to the hotel and get Raven. I was under the impression I was just dropping her off at the time and then going back to get Raven and then, but Missy had other plans.
As women do.
So I'm like, okay, so that went smooth. So next she wants to meet Danhausen. Now, why she wanted to meet Danhausen on a Saturday when she could have easily met him when he was there Friday, literally in our section, wandering around talking to people. She just bomb rushed him and started talking to him, hit the picture and started talking. I'm like, okay. This went smoother than what I thought. There's one person left on this list, and now I know I'm going to have to go explain this because I know this person is not going to have any clue who she is. And I was right. So while she was over there talking to Danhausen, I went to go talk to Mariah May. That was the last person on her list she wanted to meet. So I go and cut Mariah May's line.
I'm very surprised we haven't had a big lead picture with Mariah May from this weekend.
Dude, no. I got one last year with her, so there was other people I wanted to spare time to go get that picture with. But
Lee said she has a boyfriend now. Fuck this.
I didn't know she did.
I didn't know. I was watching. I follow her on TikTok, and she did a vlog about Squared Circle, and I guess her boyfriend bought her a slushie when she got home. So
I wonder who it is.
it's me,
Yeah, sure, buddy.
Tommy.
Anyways, so I go cut line and tell her, it's like, hey, I got Missy Hyatt wanting to talk with you. Hoping that there's a slim chance that she'd be like, oh, great, I love me. I've always wanted to meet Missy or something like that. Of course, she just looks at me like, okay. So luckily her handler starts to tell her who she is. And by that time, I literally go over back to her, who she's still trying to bother Danhausen. I'm like, hey, I got Mariah over here waiting for you. And she's like, oh, okay. And then she goes over there and, talks to her. But Mariah did good. She sold it. She sold it like they were just best friends in the world with each other. And then I was able to get her back to her table after that and then go pick up Raven. So, luckily my other handlers or talent for the weekend, I dealt with Raven. He didn't want to meet anybody. He didn't want to go. I asked him in the car ride because I literally told him in the car. I was telling him about this from the hotel to the convention. I was like, hey, I just got done doing this with Missy. Like, if there's anybody you want to meet or talk to, I'll walk with you and bridge that and start that conversation for you. The only thing I ask is, if there's somebody you want to talk to, make sure you know who it is. And he's like, I'm good. I don't want to talk to anybody. It's like, hey, buddy, that works for me too. Literally, so he was, like I said, he was super cool. We dropped him off at his table, and then I ended up going to work Amazing Maria's table, which she's an absolute blast to deal with. Super, super fun. Right before her photo op, she wanted to walk around and go see some of her friends, people that she actually knew and wasn't just trying to like shake down for photos and 8x10s. So we went around, I got to walk with her and hear some of these stories, and it was fun. She, got to see the OVW people, and she went to talk to some of the NWA people. And what was really cool for me is that she introduced me to Thomas Latimer. So that was the big thing for me this week, is I really wanted to meet him. Like, I was a big fan of Bram and TNA. Yeah. I was a fan of his very brief stint in XPW. And I made sure when I talked to him to bring up about XPW. And we had a good laugh at some of the stuff that happened during his brief stint there.
And he's the current NWA champion, right?
Yes, he's the current NWA World Champion, yes. I
thought so, but I'm a little out of the loop on all that. So.
Yeah. So I got to talk to him, and I think it's funny that a lesson that both Amazing Maria and Camille both learned that day is that if you ever put me and Latimer together, we're just like two people that just like chit chat. We're like the two old people that you see at the Hardys. Like, we'll sit there and just talk and talk and talk. And at this point, like, Amazing Maria knows that, like, she's supposed to be doing her pro photos, and I'm supposed to be getting her back to the pro photo, and I'm still over there talking to Latimer. And Camille's like, all right, these people need to leave so I can relax. So, anyways, did that, got her back to her pro photo op. And like I said, everything else went, it went smooth the whole weekend. It was a great experience. Like I said, I look forward to it next year. Hopefully you two can make it there with me.
Oh, yeah.
We got to get Farmer on the BLP show next year.
Yeah.
I'm always open for business. Sign is never off.
definitely probably do better than Tony Atlas, but
Awkward silence.
yeah, that'll be once we're done recording story I can tell you.
That's fair.
Big Lee's World After Dark.
Right. The once you join the Big Lee's World OnlyFans and Patreon, not only will you get added to the group chat, you can get exclusive after-hour stories from the adventures that can't make it to the podcast.
Plus an 8x10 of Lee whipping his dick out in front of Missy Hyatt.
Yeah, let's not start that rumor.
Too late. Too late.
Yeah, no, let's not start that rumor because
I'm going to post it on Facebook right now.
I'm going to reactivate my Facebook just to like the post.
You know how the internet is.
Tommy's going to reactivate it. He's going to like the post, share it, deactivate Facebook.
Right. Well, I mean, if he does that, then no one would see it.
It's just for his own entertainment at this point, which I support.
You know, we'll have another long Facebook post about you and things you say on here. You know, that'll also disappear.
At least this time we'd be getting buried by somebody somewhat relevant.
Ha! Oh, Mr. T0mroe trying to get the heat out here.
But I'm still glad that you had fun up there, man, because it did look like you had a blast. I was really happy to see the Raven photo. I was really hoping you didn't do like a normal like Raven thing, so that one made me happy. And to hear about the Braum one, that's good. Happy for that one too, man. Glad it was a good weekend for you.
Yeah, like I said, it was great.
Do you got anything this weekend or just us next weekend?
Oh, we'll get to that. We'll get to this weekend coming up.
Oh, shit.
But before we get there, I was going to say, do you have anything you wanted to address about your controversy or your controversial statements?
About what?
About the local wrestling scene.
Oh. No.
That's old news. That was like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah. No, I got nothing. I mean, I said what I was told, and it's out there. All the parties know what I said. All parties know that all parties know. It is what it is. Like, I felt like the bigger party needed to know what was being said about him, because me personally, I didn't really believe it. Can he have a little bit of a controversy to him? Yeah, sure, we all fucking do. But I didn't believe he was trying to run business the way that it was told to me and the way that I explained it and everything. So I put it out there the way I explained it. It got back to said person. We had a conversation. Then we had another conversation. And then, once I guess that conversation happened, I guess that's whenever that post that was made was taken down, I guess, because I laid it all out there for him. I'm like, look, this is what's going on. This is what's being said. This is who said it, because I know you guys have history, because he went in great detail about it. And I'm like, I know you a little bit. I don't know him a lot, but I'm like, I know you a little bit better to know that you wouldn't do that deliberately. I'm like, because that's just, I know him, like I said, just a little bit better to know that he wouldn't do the things that was being said about him deliberately. Like, that's just not his.
I got you.
That's just not his MO at all. Now, of course, if you piss him off, yeah, he might, take a few fucking jabs at you, maybe, but he's not going to do anything like intentionally unless he was asked by, like, okay, say here in town, say, just relatively speaking, we were running a show at the Moose Lodge, but then the Eagles Lodge asked him to come do a show. Yeah, I mean, of course he's going to fucking do that, but that's not him coming and, running the same lodge we are. That's something totally different.
Right.
But the other things that was being said about him, I don't see, and I didn't see any of that to really be too much truthful. So I'm glad I put it out there because I feel he needed it enough. And sure enough, luckily enough, he did. Somebody clipped it, recorded it, sent it to him, and I mean, from my understanding, I think I sent it to you guys. You know, he put it out there, he put a little video up of it. Yeah, I said it. That's because that's what was
Yep.
told to me. So, as far as I know, it's hashed out between he and I. You know, I truly wish PWE nothing but like the best for all of those guys, like including him, because
Mm-hmm.
you look at anything that they're doing like up that way, and I mean it's just sell out, sell out, sell out. So like I hope that Lenny can keep that going for himself and the boys. And I even told him in like one of the last messages before we just ended talking, if he did want to come this way, like fucking have at it, man. Like I ain't gonna fucking block it. If you can find a venue for less than $1,000 and you can flip that bill, shit, brother, bring your fucking guys down. Cause fuck,
Yep.
like I mean, I got last night during practice and everything. I was sent a building that is empty in Cape Girardeau after that first podcast that we did. So
Okay.
I've been looking into it off and on today. I think it would be a good building for us. Just I would want it to not just be a building for us. I would like for it to be more of a building for like a Cape Con Wrestling LLC, just some sort of like something that all parties could run their stuff through. Not just a once a month, twice a month, whatever kind of wrestling venue. I don't want the venue that we find to be just that. I want it to be multi-purpose. And could this building possibly be that? I think so, but I don't know the layout of it. So I don't know how beneficial it would be up until I can really kind of see the actual layout and everything of it. Let me see if it's over here in which person it was sent to. Oh, okay, here we go. It was sent to this one here. So I'll go ahead and I will kind of leak it just a smidgen, but I want everybody who's listening to this to understand that there is absolutely nothing set in stone with this because I was just sent this yesterday. But it's 36,000 square feet. It's over on Spring Street in Cape Girardeau. It From the way that they have it set up here, they said that it can be used for warehouse distribution, HVAC, indoor sports or training facility, creative studio, event rentals, auto parts, blah blah blah. Looks like it could be set up for a lot of things, and it's on a good side of town. Uh, if that is such a thing for Cape Girardeau, plethora, honestly, a plethora of parking. So that's a plus.
Good parking is very important.
I mean it's a pretty good sized parking lot, but rel- figuratively speaking, if we were to go into this and we were to run some sort of convention like the normal cons and everything out of this, the parking lot would not be big enough just to be 100% transparent. So that might be a little sketchy around those times. But as far as like wrestling goes, it would be more than enough. I don't think much work would have to be put into it besides just the dismantling of things. Because I don't think that. Oh, never mind. Here's some updated photos. Oh, never mind. I think this
I don't
is.
see why we
this
just
is
don't
the
have a
attached
show
building.
in Tom Rowe's backyard.
Right? We totally could. This actually looks like the
My
attached
pecan trees.
building. What I'm seeing here, that was the other empty building that is attached to it. So I'm assuming on the other half, would have to be kind of dismantled in order to run other things out of it, unless this business is still open, which I have no clue. But if both are being sold together, okay, if both buildings here are being sewn together, then there is honestly no reason why one couldn't run on one side and one run on the other. It would just have to be a kind of like a dismantling that would have to be done.
Yeah.
Of some things, and it would honestly, it would take some work to get there, but I believe it could be done. Um, Again, I'm looking into it.
Have you pitched this building to anyone yet?
No, I'm taking this all onto myself. I'm gonna get every single detail possible before I present it, because what they put up here is, as far as like rental rates and just outright selling, etc., etc. There's nothing up here for it. So I was going to get all of that information, and then go present it. So
Nice.
because I want all my ducks in a row, so that any questions that come my way, I will have an answer and not be like, "Hold on, let me get back to you." And
yeah, because I mean, I've definitely had my ear to the street as of late, and I did have a brunch meeting the other day.
Yeah.
With the big boss man himself.
Yeah.
And he definitely told me some things like he wanted to try to do.
Mm-hmm.
So that may be a option that he need to look at. As far as your other question goes about this weekend, so we're recording this Friday. We have the Chains ICW No Holds Barred in Chattanooga. Yeah. So that's got a pretty sick card on it. I know the Kill Billy's taking on the Bev, and I want to say Deathmatch Jesus is taking on Dr. Redacted. I think there's about 8 or 9 fights on the card, so it should be a good time.
Should be
and
a
then
good
Saturday,
night. Yeah.
Do what?
Said it sounds like it's going to be a good night for you then.
Yeah, it should be a bloodbath. So
Lee's favorite.
That's right. And then Saturday on the way back, we'll be stopping to see Limp Bizkit. So,
hey, nice.
But I feel like you're leaving out an artist on that one.
Do what?
So I feel like you're leaving out an artist on that one. It's not just Limp Bizkit.
Well, I mean, the whole lineup is Metallica, Limp Bizkit, and Ice Nine Kills. But for me, it's Limp Bizkit. So
you're not sticking around for Metallica?
Oh, I probably will. But that's just, the go-to is our fearless hero, Fred Durst.
How do you feel about Ice Nine Kills?
So I'll be honest with you. I haven't seen Ice Nine Kills in probably 10 years. The last time I saw them, they played this tiny dive bar called the Ready Room in St. Louis. It was Motionless in White, For Today, New Year's Day, and Ice Nine Kills was the opener. Or wait. Or maybe New Year's Day played before Ice Nine Kills. But yeah, so that was, last time I saw them. I know now they have like a full theatrics and stuff like that. When I seen them at the Ready Room, they did not. So it'll be interesting to see how they do. Like, it's not something, like I said, I really listen to. But as far as the theatrics goes, it's kind of, I put, if their theatrics is the way I understand it to be, I put them in the same boat as Gwar. As like,
oh wow,
somebody like, their show great live, but it's not somebody I would listen to. Like, you get pulled into the theatrics, but yeah, that's not quite for me.
That's fair.
But Limp Bizkit, on the other hand,
my real only knowledge of their music is they did a cover for one of the Punk Goes albums.
Okay.
I don't remember what it was. I'm looking on their Apple Music right now.
Old T0mroe and his Apple Music. Everyone else out there uses Spotify, but old T0mroe here. Because, Spotify's good because not only can you listen to your music, but in the same app you can listen to your favorite podcast, like the Big Lee's World podcast. Listen to it all right there in the Spotify app. And since Spotify is also one of our hosts that helps distribute our podcast, we definitely like to show, Spotify some support and some love there.
So they actually had two. They had three, but there's two that I've listened to. On Punk Goes 90s Volume 2, they did Good Riddance, Time of Your Life. And that was my introduction to Ice Nine Kills.
Okay.
And then they did a cover on Punk Goes Pop Volume whatever of I Don't Want to Live Forever by, I don't remember who. I know it was a big song in like the mid-2000s.
I don't know it. But, so what about you, Farmer? You got a big weekend coming up, don't you?
I do. Dude. This Saturday.
That he was just going to kill it right there. He's like, no, that's it. I'm just going to tell you I have a big weekend and nothing else.
No. I was sending a quick message and everything. I do. For some of you that are listening and for some of you that kind of keep track of things that I do in the rest of the world, know that I've had some issues with a certain music teacher over at Ignite Pro Wrestling in Carterville, Illinois, this Saturday. Bell time 6 o'clock. I have a feeling that things are finally going to boil over to the point to where I actually hurt this man. And
who you got beef with over there?
It's Dalton Anthony. Good old Dalton. He is yet again pushing my buttons to the extreme, to the point to where he had me freaking, suspended the last show.
Fight forever.
Yeah, right. That's what it feels like. It feels like us two are just going to fight forever.
How did you get suspended? I thought you was the big boss man there.
He went crying to the people above him. Yeah.
Remind him, snitches get stitches.
That's what I have a feeling is going to happen this Saturday, because we're going to have to come face to face at some point, and when it does, as many times as I've put my hands on him, and I'm using air quotes whenever I say this, you guys can see it, but everybody else listening can't. I'm using air quotes. It's gonna have to get physical at this point, because it's one thing to sit there and talk smack, make Facebook video, whatever it may be. You cost me and my family money by having me suspended because you're a little bitch. All right, now it's kind of like OJ. I'm gonna take the gloves off before I kill a motherfucker. That's where this is headed. So yeah, it's gonna be a big one as far as that goes. But I mean, honestly, this show for Ignite, it's really gonna kind of push things forward for the company, because we have a friend of mine. I'm not gonna go into details about who he is, what he is, where he works, things along those lines. But his son is coming in to work for Ignite, so it's going to be good to see him, especially after the weekend he just had. Up around Black Label Pro and everything. Yeah, it's just going to be good to see him now that he's kind of out and working and everything. So that's a big one, because they're out of the Florida.
So if you want to know who he's talking about, maybe you should go make sure you check out the previous episode of the Big Leagues World podcast.
Exactly.
You may know.
You're going to have to go back to episode 1 to find out.
2.
Was it 2?
3.
3. How many of these things have we done?
This is number 4.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, number 3.
Yeah, 'cause somebody missed episode 2. So
Well,
that's right.
We talked about it on the first one, though. We didn't talk about him on the
That was
second.
2.
Well, you didn't talk about anything on the second one.
Yeah, so it was the first one. Yeah, because
I thought it was
we
the
only
third. I
talked
don't-
about the convention on the third one. It was the first one that we talked.
Yeah, but remember the convention had a wrestling show that he was on.
Yes, it was, and that's pretty much all we talked about on the last episode.
So anyway,
I'm trying to
this is
remember
Ignite.
exactly which school it was he went to because I don't want to get it mixed up, but I want to give him a shout out because it's a fantastic school down in Florida. Gosh darn it! Keep going, Lee. I'll bring it up here in a second. Keep going.
So you said this is Ignite Pro Wrestling this Saturday night?
Yes, sir. That is correct. This Saturday night, Carterville, Illinois. Up area. Yep, it is. Come on. Yep, it's the HOC, the House of Champions, down in Florida, is where he is coming from and representing. And now, as far as information for the Ignite show, that show again, say it again because got to hammer that home for you. It is this Saturday. All right, this Saturday, the 3rd, Night Pro Wrestling. The address is 512 South Jackson Street, Carterville, Illinois. Just walk around the back of the building and you will see it. Have a big sign, big door, the whole 9. Can't miss it. Just walk in, pay your monies, sit down, and have some fun. And see this ugly mother. Probably a lot, sadly. So there's that. Yeah.
Until he gets thrown out.
Because I might have to put a hands on a bitch again. But I digress.
And then he's going to the casino.
How you doing?
Tickets only available at the door, or is there a pre-sale for them?
Yes, tickets are only available at the door. There is unfortunately not an online pre-sale at this moment. Everything is at the door. I'll be transparent. For Ignite Pro Wrestling, everything is at the door. So it's the venue that we got, which is brand new for us and to us. We're not completely done with it, so please, bear with us. They are working very hard to get it all finished, but it is coming along great. So, please come out, support us because I'm not trying to say this in a negative way, but the more people that come, the more money we'll make and the quicker we can get shit done.
That's right.
And turn this into, a fantastic place for everybody to come, enjoy, and have fun. And watch some wrestling. Tommy, what do you got?
Come out to see some.
I work on Saturday, and none of my friends ever want to hang out anymore, so I'll be sitting at home Saturday night.
All right, way to bring the mood down.
Fucking hell! How dare we ask Tommy? How his
like
life
I was
going
going to say before,
cut my wrist. Okay.
So that's what I was going to say before T0mroe came in here and killed the vibe.
That's what I do.
This Saturday night, you're looking to get to see some of the hottest pro wrestling in Southern Illinois. For those that aren't familiar with the area, because I know the first time I went to Carterville, I had no idea what Carterville was or where it was or anything like that. Carterville is right outside of Carbondale.
Yes.
So a little over an hour drive from Cape Girardeau. So, you could definitely make it. Super easy drive to get there. I don't know. You'll have to fill in other directions from other towns there. It's pretty close. I know it's pretty close to Marion as well.
Yeah, it is smack dab in the middle of Carbondale and Marion.
Is it near isn't there a casino out that way?
Yeah. Yes, Walker's Bluff.
They get some heavy hitters at the event center.
Yep, it is called Walker's Bluff. It is, like Tommy said, it's a heavy hitter over there right now. I mean, it's brand spanking new, but yeah, it's kind of the place to go over there right now.
Well, to me, it sounds like once T0mroe gets off work Saturday, sounds like he's got some plans. He can make his trip over there to Carterville and represent the Big Lee's World brand.
Hey, I will.
We'll see.
I would be more than happy to take him over to Walker's Bluff too. We'll lose some money together.
Yeah, I need to make it over to. I've not been to Walker's Bluff yet. I forgot something was coming there, and I was going to go to it. And I never did.
I know Pete Davidson was supposed to be there last summer, and he checked into rehab like the same week.
I take it he never rescheduled.
He did not.
I thought Collective Soul was supposed to be there.
I think they're either coming or they were there previously. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see what they do, guys.
Once Pete got sober, he was like, "Why the hell would I go to Southern Illinois?"
Well, apparently he'd be going to go see Ignite Pro Wrestling.
Bingo.
True.
That's what they really need to do.
Right. T0mroe here's still learning the business here. You know.
I'm a menace.
It's kind of like, why would you go to the grocery store?
Why would you go to the grocery store? That shit's expensive.
We're going to teach you one of these days.
You'll learn.
But yeah, see. So, this Saturday night, Ignite Pro Wrestling, Carterville, Illinois. Doors are at
6 p.m. 5 p.m. Show starts at 6.
All right. Family-friendly entertainment. Well, minus what Farmer plans to do to Dalton Anthony. You know.
You're definitely probably going to, unfortunately, see something broke off in his asshole.
You know. I'm definitely going to push that when the time comes for them to have their match, they just need to do no rope barbed wire.
If it gets to that point, fine with it. If it gets to that point and I can physically just hurt him and just get him gone and in my rearview mirror, I'm fine with it. I don't care.
When he breaks out the hardcore overalls.
How you doing? See how we brought that full circle, folks? See how we did that?
Have you ever did not like barbed wire like around the ropes, but like pure no rope barbed wire?
Lord, no. You know me, Lee. I don't do that. You know that, man.
He's like, I got He's like, I got 3 bumps in me and none of it's barbed wire. Dude, may tell you, like, we were running late one night for a show, getting everything going, and the main event was no rope barbed wire over in Anna. And I got on the barbed wire crew, and I tell you what, that sucks having to put that no rope barbed wire up. And no matter what it does, like, it will cut you. Like, people don't understand how sharp it is. Like, I have rawhide gloves on that you're supposed to be able to use for wiring, and trying to put that barbed wire up, like, it literally cut through the rawhide glove. So Farmer's over there thinking what it's going to be like if he could convince Dalton to do this, and how good it's going to feel to see Dalton get cut with that barbed wire.
What's he going to do, run?
Hey.
And just prove to everybody what I've already saying? So, yeah.
There you go. Well, hey, it's glad to have y'all on here this week. You know, T0mroe he cut his teeth, did his first interview. Ran a little short, but, you know, that's kind of what happens with the business. You know, Farmer showed up late, but he made it.
Yeet. Sorry. Donald's needed me.
Somebody's got to keep them in business, right?
Yeah, somebody's got to, do a review of their chicken tendies and not being worth the money.
Right. T0mroe, you already said you got absolutely nothing going on this weekend. So where can people find you at in your moping misery?
They can find me on the gram at T0mroe, T0mroe. And I'm going to give a cheap plug to the Keep Flying album real quick, since they had to jet early. It's called Time and Tide. It's on all streaming services. And I think it might be my favorite release so far this year.
Okay. What else are you going to plug?
I don't know. Is there something I'm supposed to be plugging?
May 20th, Old Rock House.
Oh, shit. Yeah. Keep Flying, May 20th, Old Rock House, St. Louis, with Save Ferris and the Toasters.
Okay. Like I said, we're going to keep working on Mr. T0mroe here with his promotional skills.
I had already closed my notes.
To be 110% fair, this whole interview came about, pull back the curtain here. Do what?
Said very quickly.
Well, it
48 hours?
A
A little less, maybe?
roughly.
It didn't get confirmed till Monday afternoon, I guess. We had started talking on Friday.
So, how this had came about was Friday, T0mroe had reached out, and he had said, Big Lee. Well, actually, he sent a text message, but I'm sure as he was writing it, that's how he started out in his mind was, Big Lee. Anyways.
I sound nothing like that.
He absolutely does. Farmer agree. Sounds a spitting image of T0mroe, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, see? Anyways, he reached out and he's like, hey, I want to get this band on the podcast. Is that cool with you? Here's the band. I looked down at it because it's kind of busy, this weekend at the convention. And all I could think about is like, I'm not familiar with this band. It's not something that's crossed my desk as far as like something that I, knew. So yeah, if you want to do it, I mean, you're taking the lead on it. Like this is, you're cutting your teeth. This is your first interview. And, I will say like, I was 100% hands off on this. T0mroe, he did all the work, he got it booked and, I'm proud of the work he did. Definitely, like I said, still going to have a little bit of work with the promotion, but, we're going to get him there.
Working on some securing some other guests right now.
Yep. T0mroe has a little bit less of experience than what Farmer and I do on promoting things. He's like, yeah.
Like, I'm not like trying to, but I'm sure some of you have seen the videos of Hogan and Bischoff.
Yeah, we already talked about it earlier while you were gone.
Okay, I'm just now seeing it because I couldn't give two shits, but it came up in my feed. I'm not. Fuck, that's fucking
Do you know what it is?
Yeah, I see it here. It's just gonna be amateur fucking wrestling, where like those guys who can't hack it and like WWE, AEW go through the training can't fucking hack it. Then what little bit they learn, they're gonna do in this real American freestyle shit.
So what the headline's gonna be is
shit. Nobody gives a flying fuck. Shit almost got canceled in the fucking Olympics. Like, what makes them think that this shit's gonna work?
The headline from this is actually now going to be Farmer Billy Hills hates amateur wrestling.
Well, like, I love
Gable Stevens is gonna whoop that ass.
Hey, that motherfucker can bring it on. He couldn't hack it at a real elite athlete level. That's the reason why his ass got fucking cut. So fuck him too. But I digress. No, man. Like, I hate to see something that has a lot of potential and could have had a lot of potential already fail before it's even started in August 30th in Cleveland. Like, man, they're going to be
how's that for some promo?
They're going to be in for a rude awakening with this. I hate that.
I want to know what happened to slap.
Being that guy. Like, I don't ever.
I want to know what happened. But I want to know what happened to slap fights.
It's still a thing.
Dana White's still promoting it.
Just seemed like it was really like out there everywhere. Then it seemed to just like go away.
Yeah.
Well, it was on TV, and then whatever network it was on was like, nah, fuck this, and they canceled it. So now it's like on some app, and Dana White still thinks people care about it. But
I would rather watch that than the other stuff.
Did you guys see? Apparently, UFC they're doing away with fighters getting to pick their own walkout music, and they're going to have Def Rebel doing generic walkout themes for the UFC fighters now.
No.
Yeah, I've been seeing that make the rounds on Reddit.
Oh.
I'll believe it when I see it, but I highly doubt that.
Well, you'll know whenever you just hear some random shitty music.
Well, I mean, I think that's
feel like
what
the guys at the top of the card will still have their say, but yeah, it's like the prelim fighters and stuff like that. They're all just going to get shit canned by the worst music you've ever heard.
Yeah. Well, it's no worse than the CFOs. So
just bring back Jim Johnson.
Thank
you. Amen, brother.
So anyways, we're going to work on T0mroe's advertising skills here. But want to say good job on your first interview. We look forward to seeing what you bring out next. Farmer, you told us you got the big confrontation this weekend out at Ignite in Carterville. Where can everybody find you at besides in Carterville?
You can find me on all social medias. Just search for FBHO5 and this mug will come right up.
All right. And then, like you said, you can find him this Saturday night in Carterville, Illinois at Ignite Pro Wrestling. You going to have the gimmick table set up?
Always.
That's what we like to hear. Because if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense.
How you doing? And dead men don't make money.
Well, I don't know about that now.
Elvis don't count.
What about
dead.
Tupac?
He ain't dead either.
Yeah, I seen him come back on TikTok a few times.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, my name's Big Lee of the Big Lee's World Podcast. Like I said, if you're listening to this as it comes out, you can find me this weekend. I'll be down in Red Bank, Tennessee, outside of Chattanooga for ICW No Hose Barred. We'll be at the TWE Arena, hanging out there. You know, if you're listening to this, come say hi. Come say what's up. Tell us what you think of the podcast. You know, tell us what your thoughts on Mr. T0mroe is. And
maybe don't do that.
Tell him you want to see him in the no rope barbed wire. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put you two against each other in the barbed wire.
I ain't bumping. Say that right now.
Anyways.
What's the payout?
A hot dog and a handshake.
I don't even like hot dogs.
Well,
that's a discussion for next week.
Anyways, this Friday night, like I said, we'll be hanging out at ICW down at Red Bank. Come say what's up. Saturday, we'll be back in the Ville, in the big cities, Smashville, Nash Vegas, as they call it, whatever you want to call it. Bet the Limp Bizkit show. Come say what's up. Come say hi. Otherwise, you know, you could find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, whatever all these little goofy icons are on here, at Big Lee's World. Anything and everything Big Lee's World. You can find me at bigleesworld.com. Like, follow, subscribe to the podcast. Make sure to show it some love. We appreciate y'all listening to this. Like I said, we're looking forward to keep doing this. The response has been positive. We appreciate all the support. One thing I do want to bring up before I go, I read some of the comments, a couple of the comments, you know. Rod Dent, shout you out. Appreciate you listening. And I had to look this other person up because it didn't register me at first because, you know, my memory's not the best. But a friend of yours, I believe, Farmer, Bud Galloway checked in.
Yeah, Bud. The boys.
So we appreciate you checking us out and giving us a listen. Like I said, bigleesworld.com for all things Big Lee's World podcast. You know, thanks for T0mroe and Farmer for joining us. So we'll have one more episode before our big endeavor next weekend. You know, we will be at Backlash in St. Louis as long as everything doesn't fall apart, you know, with our Connect. So you says...
Better not. I'll kick their ass.
So you see us at Backlash in St. Louis next weekend. Make sure you come up and say hi. And like I said, we look forward to seeing y'all there, seeing y'all this weekend. Thanks for checking out the podcast. We'll see you soon. Y'all have a great night.
Peace.